Hello, guys. I know you guys all are preparing for Security Plus. You want to advance your career. You want to pass the most important cybersecurity certification. But studying for CompTIA Security Plus might be confusing. You might not really understand how to frame and answer some of the questions. So, in today's video, I'll run through 10 practice questions and talk through the thinking about how CompTIA is asking questions and how to frame the answers. Hopefully you guys, you like it, you enjoy it, and follow for more CompTIA and cybersecurity content that helps you prepare for exams, helps you on your journey into cybersecurity, and hopefully allows you to learn better and understand cybersecurity concepts. So, let's dive in. First question. A business development team reports that files are missing from database system and the server login screen are showing a lock symbol that requires users to contact an email address to access the system data. Which of the following attacks is the company facing? Now, straight away, when you read questions, guys, there's important things to understand. There's always going to be a keywords that point to the correct answer. So, the keywords in this is that files are missing, first of all, and showing a lock symbol. Now, straight away, a rootkit will not show that. Rootkit is something that essentially allows an access to a computer, so you wouldn't even notice that it's there. Similar to spyware. Spyware is designed to spy on the target. So normally you'll have spyware that gathers information before the actual attack is happening. So the only correct answer here, if you understand, guys, what ransomware is that usually it's computers get encrypted and locked, making them unusable. So therefore, in question 1, the answer will be ransomware. Now, question number 2. During a security incident, the security operations team identified sustained network traffic from malicious IP address 10.1.4.9. A security analyst is creating an inbound firewall rule to block the IP address from accessing the network's organization's network. Which of the following fulfills the request? Now, there's an important point here, there's an important question here, which I often talk about. I know influencers and all of the people around the internet who are either selling the courses, selling boot camps, they are suggesting people to jump straight away into Security Plus. But security, or you can't work in security if you don't understand operating systems, if you don't understand hardware, and if you don't understand networks. So my suggestion to you guys, if you are early in the journey, you don't necessarily need certifications, but you need to understand the concepts and material from A+, which talks about operating systems, which talks about hardware, and Network Plus, which teaches you the networking fundamentals. Because how can you secure a network if you don't understand how networks operate? How can you secure operating system or hardware if you don't know how they work? So this fundamental skill lends itself into security. So let's have a look at the answers. An access list inbound deny IP source 000/0 and destination is 10.1.4.9/32. Now, first of all, A is obviously wrong because essentially it denies all of the traffic, and destination is wrong because our destination, this is not the destination, this is traffic from malicious IP. So you have to look about, first of all, you can look at the answers. We are wanting to deny. So C and D about permitting is obviously wrong. Now, when you look about two deny answers, obviously the only correct one could be is B, because we are denying the mentioned IP address and the destination is 000 because we're denying every single destination, which means by that IP address. Now, let's dive into question number 3. Which of the following threat actors is most likely to use common hacking tools found on the internet to attempt remotely compromise an organization's web server? Now, again, keywords. We're talking about common hacking tools. Now, nation-state attackers would never use common hacking tools found on the internet. They develop and build their own tools. They use sometimes 0 days and things like that. Again, insider threat doesn't work really, and organized crime doesn't really work here. The only possible answer here is unskilled attacker. Now, question number 4. A systems administrator would like to set up a system that will make it difficult or impossible to deny that someone has performed an action. Which of the following is the administrator trying to accomplish? Now, looking at the answers, again, impossible to deny. If you guys learned about CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability, we are talking here about integrity. So nobody can deny that they performed an action. Now, if you look at deception and disruption, it can only be achieved normally by deploying honeypots. Honeypots are there to deceive the attackers and disrupt their attacks. Security zones is a way to segment our networks into different security zones. And adaptive identity is essentially rollback access controls, and it's adaptive based on the roles and based on the permissions that people have. So the only possible answer here is non-repudiation. Non-repudiation itself as a term means you can't deny that something you have performed. Now, let's dive into question number 5. Which of the following types of controls decreases the likelihood of a security breach occurring? Now, again, decreases the likelihood. So if we look at the suggested actions, corrective action does not decrease the likelihood of cybersecurity breach. We are making a corrective action after the breach has already occurred. Transfer, again, will not decrease the likelihood because transfer is deploying something like cybersecurity insurance where we transfer the risk to a third party. Detective control will allow you to detect but will not decrease the likelihood. So therefore, the only possible answer here is preventative controls. They are preventing the likelihood of cybersecurity breach. Question number 6. A company is expanding its threat surface program and allowing individuals to security test company's internet-facing application. The company will compensate researchers based on the vulnerabilities discovered. Which of the following best describes the program that company is setting up? Now again, we're talking about researchers here. That's the keyword, researchers, and they will be compensated. Now, if we look at the answers here, open source intelligence talks about essentially using open source tooling or open source information to gather intelligence. It doesn't work here. Red team is an internal team that usually acts a way to exploiting our internal applications, but they are not researchers. And same as penetration testing, can be internal, can be external facing third-party company that based on engagement agreed will perform a test. So therefore, the only possible program here is bug bounty. Bug bounty is where we pay our researchers or external or using websites like HackerOne, Bugcrowd to exploit and find vulnerabilities in our internet-facing application. Question number 7. Which of the following is the final step in the incident process? Now guys, if you learned the incident process, it starts with, so cybersecurity incident response process is preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, and the last step is lessons learned. Therefore, the answer is lessons learned. That's the last exercise that you would do during the incident response. You will learn what went good, what went wrong, and how we can do it better during the next time. Now, question number 8. Which of the following provides the details about the terms of a test with a third-party penetration tester? Now, looking at the answers, again, we're talking about third-party penetration tester. Due diligence, it's something that we do before we engage any third party. But that's something that we do in terms of service agreements. Right to audit clause is something that we add in a contract when we sign a contract with our partners. And supply chain analysis, again, it's analyzing how our supply chain and where the risks are in terms of companies that provide services for us. So the only possible answer here is rules of engagement. Now, let's look at question number 9. An organization is leveraging a VPN between its headquarters and a branch location. Which of the following is VPN protecting? Now, guys, VPN is a way to establish an encrypted tunnel between two locations, as we can see, headquarters and branch location. So, it doesn't create a geographic restriction. Data sovereignty means that when organizations wants to establish its operation, it has to keep the data inside the agreed location. So if you're working in US, you want to keep data in US, that's data sovereignty. So data in use doesn't work here as well, because data in use is usually data being ran or used inside the memory. So the only possible answer here is data in transit. We are protecting data in transit between the two locations, establishing a VPN encrypted tunnel. Now, question number 10. Which of the following would be most helpful in restoring data in the event of ransomware infection? Now, load balancing is essentially a way to help us to maintain the traffic load. So we're balancing a load. Normally what we do is if we've got internet-facing application, we create a load balancers between numbers copies our applications to balance. Geographic dispersion, again, is a similar way using solutions such as front door and various other ways to disperse the traffic to the closest location. So for example, you can use front door in Azure. If you got users accessing your application, you can cache the application in the closest location. Encryption doesn't necessarily help you in restoring, it helps you in protecting the data. But the only possible answer here that helps you to restore the data is backups. So hopefully, guys, the explanation and the way looking through the answers, looking at the keywords and to understand the terms in cybersecurity helps you prepare better for your cybersecurity and Security Plus exam. Guys, remember, not enough just to take notes and watch all of the Security Plus videos. The more practice exams you do, the better you're going to get at. And I always say to people, do the practice exam first before you even start studying. Therefore, you can understand where your weaknesses are and how you can better prepare for exams. So then you can focus your studying based on the gaps in your knowledge. Guys, follow for more Security Plus content where we're going to dissect some more great questions and answers and help you prepare for the next exam. Stay tuned until the next time.